Okay, class, let's take a look at a vertical analysis now. Okay, these are often called a common size statement because you're making all of the different line items of a balance sheet or of an income statement into a common size by simply using percentages. What happens is you look at the balance sheet or the income statement as percentages by using one base number for the entire document. Okay, in terms of the balance sheet, you're going to use total assets. In terms of the income statement, you'll use the net sales number. The way that this works is you can then track independent performance, or you can compare this with other companies as well. Kind of like a horizontal analysis, but this one's a little bit more usable in my mind because you can actually see where every percentage of the company is located. All right, for the balance sheet, like I said, the base is the total assets dollar amount. For income statement, you're going to use net sales as your base number. So here's what it looks like. Again, I'm referring to the actual exhibit in your book. This one's 13.8 on page 562. All right, so this is vertical analysis of a balance sheet. Now the fonts are small here, but take a look. If you look over here, there's no subtraction this time, just like in the trend analysis. The horizontal analysis is called such because you were looking horizontally. You were looking at one row, going across and subtracting and doing some calculations. Here, really, I don't even need 2 years. Okay, but we have 2 years for research and motion, so they do it for both years. But just look at 2010. All along here are percentages, okay? And even though the percent is only shown a couple places, all these red numbers are percentages. Well, there's only one place, well, actually two for a balance sheet. The place where it shows up is total assets. But of course, total assets equals total liabilities and stockholders' equity as well, so we see 100% there. What they do is they take this number. Let's just look at 2010. The number here is 10.2 billion. And they divide every number into that large number. So if I have 1.55 billion and you divide it into 10.2, well, you get 15%, 15.2% to be exact. If you took a bigger number, like net receivables here, 2.59 billion divided into 10, we're going to get about 25.4%. Okay, so what this means is every number gets divided into that number. It's very, very simple to do with a spreadsheet. You don't have to crank these out by hand like maybe you have to on your homework or maybe you have to on the final exam. But in spreadsheet format, you would simply divide every line item by this number and you'd get these percentages very, very quickly, very, very easily for large volumes of data. Okay, and what it does is it tells you, okay, for every dollar of assets, we've got, 15 cents wrapped up in cash. We've got only 3.5 cents in short-term investments. Wow, we're about to collect 25 cents on every dollar of assets from customers who owe us something. All right, you can look at your inventory. 6% of our total assets are based in inventory. So 6 cents of every dollar value in the company is in inventory right now. That's good to know. How much of it's current? Well, 57 cents on the dollar. 57 cents of every dollar of total assets is current. In other words, we could turn it into liquid dollars in a year or less. That's what current means. Okay. Long-term investments, well, we got 9 cents on every dollar of value for the company is wrapped up in long-term investments. About 20 cents, or actually 19, is wrapped up in property, plant, and equipment. That's good to know. Okay, intangibles, well, those are the things that are hard to quantify sometimes, but there you go. 13 cents of every dollar of assets is wrapped up in those. Now remember, the other side of the equation, A equals L plus OE, where is every dollar of equity and every dollar of liabilities, or every fraction of the dollar? Well, 6 cents of every part of this side of the equation is wrapped up in accounts payable. We owe it to someone else. 16 cents is stuff we owe to others, accrued liabilities. All right, almost 1% is taxes payable to governments or somebody else, okay, local or regional or international or probably national. If you look down here, of all our liabilities, 24 cents of every dollar worth of liabilities plus owner's equity, 24 cents is something we owe in the next year. Total liabilities is only 26 cents, 25.5 to be exact. So there's not much in terms of long-term liabilities. We have very little long-term debt. Okay, research and motion does. That's good. All right, in terms of equity, well, 22 cents is sitting out there in stock. Okay, 52 cents of every dollar is retained earnings. Wow, this is a long-term and very profitable company right here. That's what that all means. Total equity, wow, this is a good breakdown. 25 or 26% is what we owe to others. 75% is shareholder equity. That's good, right? If this were flipped, if you had 75% of every dollar value is owed to others and only 25% is in equity, that's great. If this was your home, right, you'd love to have 75% equity and 25% that you owe to the bank still. Flip that around, 75% owed to the bank, 25%, well, that's probably your down payment. So you really like this breakdown for research in motion. Okay, so that's how vertical analysis works. You pick a base number, in this case it's total assets, divide every other number on that balance sheet for the year into that number, and you get these percentages. Okay, so all these have to add up to 100. All of these have to add up to 100, and notice the total for liability is 25.5 plus 74.5 for the bottom half of the balance sheet. Those add up to 100 as well. Okay, don't get fooled by these percentages here. The 23.8 is the sum of these 5 numbers. Up here, these top looks like 7 numbers add up to 57.0, and the 57 plus these other ones add up to 100. Okay, so make sure you understand that. Even more telling would be the final one we're going to look at here today, and that is the vertical analysis or common size analysis of an income statement. Okay, here there's only one number on this whole list that adds up to 100%, or that means 100%. Again, 2009 is separate from 2010. I'm only going to look at 2010 until the very end. If you look at where the 100% is, well, it's net sales, as we said, or revenue. Okay, if you're not sure what net sales is, you take the revenue number. You guys should know that by now. I'm just going to look at 2010. I divided every other number on this income statement by 14.953 billion. So 8369 with rounding divided by 14.9, I got 56%. Obviously, the top one divided by itself is 100%. Okay, gross margin, 6584 divided by 14953, I got 44%. So right here is the company in a nutshell. For every dollar of sales, not assets, right? That was the balance sheet, not owner's equity. Those ones are on the balance sheet. For every dollar of sales, 56 cents of it is going into cost of sales, into making the product. 44% is gross profit. Okay, now of that 44%, I took this 965 number, rounding, divided by 14953, and I got 6.5%. So of this 44 cents that's in gross profit right now, I spent about 7 cents. That leaves a little bit less. Oh, selling, marketing, administration. Wow, 12.8%. I got that by 1907 divided by 14953. Here you go, 12.8 cents. And amortization 2.1, 1.1. So after 44 cents, take these numbers out, I'm left at 22 cents, 21.7 to be exact. Okay, so you could do the math here with these percentages, or I could take 3237 or 3238 with rounding divided by 14953. Remember, I'm always going back to the net sales number or the revenue number to get this red percentage over here, 22 or 21.7. And so at the end of the day, I take out this, I'm down to 21.8. Okay, income taxes, 809 divided by 14953, I get another 5.4%. So at the end of 2010, I can look real quickly here and see where every dollar of sales is going. 56 cents is going into making the product. Okay, 7 cents or 6.5 cents going into R&D. 12.8 cents going into selling, marketing, administration. Okay, 5 cents going into taxes. So at the end of the day, for every dollar of sales, 16.4 cents of every dollar is pure profit. That's pretty good. Okay, this is a very profitable company. If this was a restaurant, you'd be happy if that was 5%. Most restaurants make a nickel on every dollar. Okay, well, not most, but that's a good parameter for restaurants. Now, you can look at the previous year as well. The math is the same. Okay, to get these numbers over here in the 2009 column, the red numbers anyway, I divided every number here on 2009 by 11.065. I didn't do anything horizontally, but now I'm going to combine what I call horizontal and vertical. Okay, I've got two vertical analysis here, or two common size statements. Now let's compare just the percentages, the red numbers of 2009 to the red numbers of 2010. Okay, in 2009, our cost of sales was 54 cents of every dollar. Now it's 56. It went up. That means our gross margin had to go down. It was 46 cents of every dollar of sales. Now it's 44. Well, it's not terrible, but it's getting smaller. I don't like that. R&D, we spent a little bit more money in 2010 on R&D. Maybe we're gearing up for the next BlackBerry. Okay, maybe we're paying the engineers a lot of money because we've got to compete with the iPhone. All right, so we spent less on selling, marketing, administration. We spent more on R&D. All right, amortization went up. Not going to worry about that. It's a tiny percentage. Okay, litigation. Oh, we had a lawsuit. Okay, we had no dollars spent on this in '09. We had 163 million or 164 million spent in 2010. Not happy about that, but these things happen. All right. Look at that. Our income from operations dropped by almost 3 cents. Can't be too happy about that. Our taxes went down. That's good, maybe because we're making less. But at the end of the day, in '09, for every penny or for every dollar of sales, we came out with 17 cents profit. In 2010, for every dollar of sales, we ended up with 16 cents profit. Not bad, but of course, you'd like to see those numbers stay the same or go up. So what I've done here is I've kind of combined horizontal and vertical analysis. I looked at both growth trends and I would compare numbers with other companies. You've got Palm in the back of your book in one of your appendices. You could do this for Palm. I don't know how they're doing these days. They don't make phones as far as I know. You've also got Apple, and Apple makes quite a bit more than phones, but you could look at Apple's iPhone numbers, compare them to Research in Motion, and you could really see who's doing better compared to these two companies. Okay, look at competitors within your industry. You could look at other industries, okay, and say what's R&D for, say, computers? What's R&D for, say, tablets? What's R&D for other tech products? And is our R&D in line with it? We know we were spending, I'm going to go back here for a second. We know we were spending about 6% or 6 cents of every dollar of sales on R&D. What are they doing in other industries here? Okay, so we can look beyond the phone industry and get some interesting numbers. You can look at both horizontal and vertical with both the balance sheet and the income statement, but basically a combined statement tells you quite a bit about the company. It's year-to-year trends, horizontal, and you can also do that with the vertical numbers, as I did a moment ago, looking at that last income statement. Okay. Your book doesn't go into tremendous detail with these problems, so the problems are kind of light, but you should still be able to do that. These are due the week of the final exam, and there's only 3 problems there. Okay, so there you go. I'm going to come back and do the final lecture, which is on the final exam checklist. So we'll see that in just a minute.